Good morning, everybody. We're so happy you're here for us for our presentation today. My name is Kimberly Gragg. I'm the Undergraduate Services Coordinator here at the library. These are my colleagues, Allison Nolan and Mohammed Kokan. We are part of 75% of our undergraduate services team. We had a couple of other presenters who were going to come, but they had things pop up. So I'm just glad that they didn't get a weekend bug or anything. They were here to go with me. So today, what we're going to talk about is using a flipped method, a flipped classroom method of teaching library instruction. And you know, if you've been in a session, how it can seem. As librarians, we're trying to give as much information as possible. They kind of get this glazed look in their eyes, and we like the phrase information by fire hose. You'll probably hear that a couple of times today. Um, so we have limited time to share information. So it's just like we got to get through it. It's usually a one-shot session, a lot of information to cover. And sometimes you have students who look like they're engaged, they see it, but you know there's some that aren't. But then when they have to go replicate what has just been demonstrated to them, they kind of get stuck. So that's why we're introducing or proposing a flipped classroom method for teaching library instruction. So I'm going to step out and let Allison take over from this moment, and I'll be back.
Right, so before we talk about the use of flipped classroom methods in library instruction specifically, we kind of want to make sure we're clear on what we mean by traditional versus flipped classroom methods. So in a traditional method, students are introduced to information through lectures, through demonstration, through basically someone standing up in front of a room like I am right now and kind of talking at them. And that's fine, you get the information, but you don't really absorb it 100% of the time. And then it also leaves very little time for actually having hands-on application of the skills too. So you're, like Kim said, you're left with students that may have somewhat retained what you were giving them, and they, may or may not have that deer in headlights glazed over look. But then when it comes to actually applying the skills, they're having a harder time because they didn't have time with the librarian or instructor or whoever to actually practice the skills. So the idea is that with a flipped method, they would come in with some baseline knowledge already, whether it's just general information about the library website, about maybe databases and things like that. Or, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the flipped method would have them come in with information ahead of time so that everybody starts at sort of the same baseline, and then we can focus class time on uh, doing practice and making sure that they have the skills down. It shifts instructors from being sort of the primary source of information, that sage on the stage, which I'm sure we've all heard, to being more of a guide of the learning activities. Alrighty. So then, why do we think that flipped instruction would be useful for library instruction sessions specifically? Well, because at their core, library instruction is skill-based. We can stand up here and talk about the databases and global search and all that all we want, but again, if students aren't actually getting their hands in there and researching using keywords related to their topics or just general keywords to sort of get a feel for the databases, then when we let them loose on their own, they're going to go, wait, how do I do all that again? And so if we have them start with, some short videos of, uh, if we have them start with something like short videos or another sort of reference material to sort of get that introduction of the information started, then they can come to a session and then really do the hands-on practice part of things. It also helps reduce that sort of cognitive overload, that information by fire hose that Kim was talking about, because they're, again, coming in with a lot of the information already introduced. So we can do just a quick little recap saying, okay, you should have learned this, this, and this from the videos that you watched or the readings that you did, or however we have the information presented. And then from there, we can say, okay, let's now practice what you read about. So then what do the goals for that pre-class work look like? I've talked about that a little bit, so I might repeat myself a little bit. Sorry about that. But really all it is we're getting them an introduction. We're not wanting them to master everything and be a font of information about the library and library resources right off the bat. But we're sort of giving everyone that same baseline so that no matter what their level of research experience is, whether they're a freshman who's never stepped foot in the library, or in some cases, a junior or senior who's never stepped foot in the library, or they're in another case, a junior or senior who has maybe done a few research papers and they count another way around. We're still sort of starting everyone at that same starting point so that then we can, again, be more intentional with the class time of, okay, let's now dig into where you're maybe having problems, where you're running into questions, where you're seeing things that you didn't think you would have issues with maybe, and you're sitting there now going, oh God, why is this doing this to me? What am I doing wrong? Um, so it really just makes class time more focused and more intentional rather than us just spewing information at them. The idea is that pre-class materials would be short and focused, so 3 to 5 minute videos on things like what is a database? How do I use it? How do I navigate it? What are keywords? How do I use them to do searches? What's the difference between using a database and using Google? Things like that. So again, they're just sort of introduced to the concepts and the topics. And then there also an idea of having some sort of accountability along the way too. So either a short quiz or a reflection question or just hey, apply this skill by telling us what a keyword is or what a keyword could be related to your topic. So that way they're right away having to sort of apply what they've just watched, so that they're not just watching it and going, okay, that was nice, and then walking away and never using it again.
We're going to talk about some of the same things. Sorry. I think we're trying to pound it into your head. This is a good idea. So what would the in-class experience look like if we did the flipped classroom method? As she mentioned, there would be pre-class work where they did some not intentional, learning. Basically, they're going to be watching some videos, maybe reading an article, playing around on the computer. And then when they get to class, the librarian would do a recap of the information, and students would have an opportunity for hands-on practice with the librarian. If I was in a class and y'all had an assignment last night, what I might do is divide the class into 2 separate groups, where this class is doing a keyword search using this Boolean operator or this phrase, and this class is using a different set. Or we might have you try different databases, because we do have databases that are directed to specific subjects or fields. Then we have those general databases as well, like EBSCO. We have directed ones on EBSCO, but there's also Academic Search Complete, which is very broad. And then they could see what the difference was when they got their results. So we have some, I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, already talked about it. Even though we're only seeing part of the process today, this is kind of how it would look. They would have the pre-work, they would have the in-class instruction session where they got the hands-on practice, and then this flow shows how pre-class preparation can dramatically increase the value of in-person time. So you have handouts of screenshots of the tutorial. So we originally we were going to do these in Nearpod, but then I got this feeling that we were going to lose Nearpod. I don't know how many people are using it, but Dr. Quinn purchased LibWizard, and it's a really great tool. Mohammed and I have played with it, and we're still learning it. So we have one good tutorial to share with you. Do you want to go ahead and pull it up? Do you want to talk about it, and I'll be quiet?
Hold on. I think that's too sharing process.
Oh, I got you. No, it says example.
So.
Okay. What is it? Oh, okay.
So
It's still not
the
showing.
good thing about LibWizard is that it allows us to capture.
Still not showing.
Oh, still not showing. Oh, not on there.
Yeah.
I don't know how to share that directly onto that screen.
Oh, she's coming.
I can share it on
Oh,
Zoom.
nope. We got help. We got help. Sorry, we weren't real sure how this is gonna work with this room. 'Cause it's kind of, yeah, we're figuring it out.
Great, y'all are doing.
You want me to do jazz hands and all that? Oh, oh gosh.
It's on, it's that.
Yes.
Like the idea of the pre-class work, because like I was jotting down what could be, and so even just understanding what is research at collegiate level.
Right.
It's not just Googling sources, and then what is a database, like y'all are talking about.
Yes,
And even just the keyword, like how many times, like, and what is a Boolean search, or like.
Right.
what a Boolean search is. Plus and minus and how that will impact tourism.
yes. The Boolean operators have a huge impact on your results if you know how to use them correctly. And then anything using a keyword as opposed to a phrase can cause a lot of different results as well. So anything like that, that we can show them like a little short 3-minute video, that just kind of exposes them to what it looks like, because we find that when students come to us for an appointment, they're like, I tried, kind of, I did a Google search.
The library webpage, I felt like that was a good start.
Yeah. And even that is overwhelming. So I know in our instruction sessions, a lot of times we show them how to navigate the library webpage. So even that would be a helpful video. Just so you know, we do have a few videos on our YouTube channel. It's Tarleton Libraries. It's how to orient yourself on, I can't remember the word, how to find help on the webpage.
Yes.
There's like database.
How to use global search, how to find a book. Sorry, not trying to
No,
talk
you're
over
good.
you.
So we do have some videos. Okay, Mohammed has access now to the tutorial. I'll let him show what it looks like. And then some of you have the handouts.
I don't have a mic, so it may sound muffled on Zoom.
I'll share mine.
What's your name?
Let's share. Where's the indicator for it? It's right there. So LibWizard is a really nice tool. It lets us capture data about people who are taking it, just like you would on Canvas. It captures student information. It can capture IP information. For us, we only really want to track the person that they used it. We don't really necessarily collect that information directly, so we usually have to ask about it. But I see lots of stuff on here. But how do I hide this? I gotta go more.
Yeah.
And then where is it? There we go. So in general, it gives you a quick introduction, usually a slideshow on the side, and then we can just start begin. And I made this one so that it collects information first, but it can also just,
While you're talking.
yeah, I can just click no and I can skip that information process. If I hit yes, we can collect it right there, where you can collect the names of students, their email, who is assigning this work to them, and that way we then print that onto a certificate for them that they can then upload to Canvas and get credit for it. That's the general idea that I wanted to go for this, but we'll just do, simple example. We'll call this test. Student will email at tarleton.edu. Oh no, it doesn't work.
Sure.
And professor, I like Dr. Baum. And it'll be English 1301, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at, let's say 5 p.m. That sounds real, right? So in general, this tutorial is breaking down with, again, video tutorial. It's a very quick and short video, but each student can actually get past this and go straight into the testing part of it, where they actually get tested on the skills themselves. So when I go into, after the hands-on practice, it asks you, hey, you can open up a new tab. And the cool thing about LibWizard is that it's really good at swapping between windows throughout the entire lesson. This allows us to get through this really pesky thing that stops iframes, our internet frames, from working inside of a browser. Most of our databases are secured in a manner that makes that not possible to embed their information into another website. This is a major part of the security, and we don't want the information getting out anyway. So we have to do this roundabout way, but students have one browser open where they can test a skill and use it live, and then the tutorial page is stayed open and they can type in information. So this is practice portion, open up some paths, and okay, great, we'll go through each question. So question 1, search for a book on global warming. How many results do you see? Oh, okay. It's the same exact one that's in the video tutorial that was before. That's why I kept the same keywords. And it is a topic that we can use. Just type it in. And, well, we have 1261, so I'll type that in. And I'll hit next. And there'll be a little message that says if they got the question right or a question wrong. I made this so that it doesn't matter if they get it right or wrong, it still gives them a result and says the result, what you can do with it, and why it's helpful to do this. And we can keep going through. It gets more information. Let's say that I want to limit it more research. Oops. I lost it. Oh, I have to do it again.
You got this, you got this.
No, I'm being judged by my typing speed. So on the left side, I see limit search, and we just go through it, and you actually have to click more and actually see the material type. Oops, my brain is definitely not working right.
Learn, like a legit thing in the library, so it's easy to get that new stuff for sure.
But you have to hit more in order to see the DVD tab. That's why I did that, so that people will try to engage with it. It's in a material type, but I don't see it. It's the idea to engage them and try to use some critical thinking. Yes, and it gives you 3. They type in 3. It says, hooray, known as filters. And even if you got it wrong, let's say I typed in 6, it would still get read, it'd still be the same information. The point is I'm trying to use it as a way to get them to engage in a tutorial. They can still go through next. And is it information box, question, information box, question. That the only idea is to get them in a rhythm. So it'll tell you to go now to global search articles. And now, oh wow, that's a lot of numbers. How many is available? I'll type in that number. It was like 3,000. Like a million. There's a lot of articles. The point is that I want them to go through and try to use the filters. Peer review, include. And technically they could have seen the number there and it is typed in, that's 9, 5, 11, 10. So depending on how they search, they may have different numbers. So I tried to future-proof this as much as possible. So I'm going to say the number I had when I did it. And then they can still continue on to the lesson. But it's the idea of what's scholarly, what's good, what's bad. And let's say that they want to make a citation. This is the general idea, is to teach them that there's other tools here.
Citation thing's not working.
Yes, but
Sorry.
in general, you would go to an article. I would just click into it. It would load eventually. And they could copy paste this little side button here, citation. It would build it. And then you would paste it here. So
Go ahead, yeah.
there we go. Now, here's the thing. I know there's definitely no way I could put that kind of logic in a test if they did a proper citation in here. That says, I'll accept any answer there. And instead, I want them to say, I can't check for your citations, but regardless, it's still an automated system. There can still be some mistakes. It's always a learning opportunity that I want them to have. And oops,
Yeah, my outlook's up.
that's fine. So you would just submit it. And it said, thank you for completing it. And it gets shiny little acknowledgement that you've completed the tutorial. And this is the document that you would upload into Canvas and give to a professor saying, hey, I've completed this minimum level of competency, or at least I went through the motions.
Can you get back to the slideshow?
Say again?
Can you get to the stop sign?
Yes, I can do that.
I didn't know if we're gonna be able to get back to it or not.
While he's doing that, this is actually a very similar method to how I teach math. I call it a sandwich method.
Mhm.
I'll introduce the math concept, they'll go practice, and then we go over the homework in great detail.
Right.
To kind of solidify anything that wasn't clear from the
Right.
practice, and so it works well. Like, it works well, introducing the topic, letting them practice, and,
Mhm.
yeah.
I mean, I think flipped classroom method has been around for a little while, but, I do think it's a good way for them to get introduced to something in the library, and that's what that pre-works for, is just kind of giving them a taste of it. And then they can go in and play around with it, because like Allison said, it's skill-based. The more you do it, the better you're gonna get. The better, I mean, even now, that's exactly how I am. The more I do it, I get better and better. And I'm like, oh, well, look at that. What happened there? So there are some challenges to flipped classroom work. Students might not do the pre-work, but they might not do their homework either. So that's the thing. Professors could offer a small participation grade or a little quiz, extra points or something like that. Or they could embed it into the assignment. We have we don't have several. We have a couple of teachers, faculty, who make their students schedule an appointment with the librarian. And when they come to that appointment, they bring a sheet of paper and they have to address all of these things. It's forcing them to do that, and they get graded on that. It's part of that research assignment that they're doing. Another challenge is it could be a time investment for faculty and librarians. We're already doing it. It's our job. So that's nothing to us. But for faculty, it might make a little bit more time effort for them. But once you've done it, you can reuse that same thing. We already know that you're reusing the same Canvas modules. So, I mean, with changing. Now, we might have to go update videos. We might have to go update videos because the look of our website changes. We might lose a database. We might add a database or something like that. So that's some of the timing. So there are some things to think about. The flipped classroom model allows us to make the most of limited instructional time. That makes it more intentional when they're in the class with us or when we're in the class with them. So giving them that practice. And then it makes, I think, hopefully more engaged students, because if they've done that pre-work, maybe they're going to come to class with questions and we can kind of work through a search for them. A lot of times, because we're giving it to them so fast, we're showing all of this information. I don't even think they have the opportunity to really think how it works with their research or what their assignment, how they tie it together. So I think giving them that time before to expose them to that, then to have that time in the classroom is going to be helpful. So, what are your thoughts about this? I mean, you've had a couple of questions. Is this something that might work for your class?
So with the Tarleton today, because yes, I think this would work great, because typically what we do is we are showing the teachers. And then
Right.
the teachers are gonna need to show and engage with the students. And so with that being said, is this something that they could easily access and then transition to their classes so that they could do it too?
I think that would be fine. As long as they have a Tarleton login,
All
and
the
they do,
students in.
and the professors do, and they could put their teacher, whoever, does the teacher have a Tarleton email? The high
Yes.
school teacher?
So,
Okay.
The Live Wizard does give me the option to limit it to only Charleston students, or I can expand it out to accept anyone. The example that I used for Live Wizard today is actually one that's unlocked and can be used by anyone technically. It will make a certificate of completion regardless of who you are.
Okay.
You can technically type in whatever you want and write funny things on it, so there is some possible issues that could happen.
You have no idea what I get for bonus questions. Yeah.
Yeah, there is definitely a way for students to corrupt the certificate in very interesting ways, but again, the idea is that it's supposed to be an honest application of academic integrity. You're exploring it and you are engaging with content. So it is not really, it's not designed to like tests for stuff. It is not a verifiable, thorough, vigorous way of doing things. It's just to get a student to go through the motion to practice the skills to do the work.
Yeah. So we have plans. We want to go live with this in the fall as a full suite of tutorials. We're working on learning now and doing the process of creating some. I know I have been told that the English 1301 and English 1302 are going to be completely online this summer. So we'll be creating a few of those so they can take them and run with them. They're not in, I don't believe they're wanting any like Zoom session for us. At least that's not what they said. So we're hoping to give them a tool to use. So, but any questions? 3 minutes left. So
Really great. I really enjoy this tool. And I'm thinking about how we can apply it for our students as well.
Yes.
Even as an additional learning component for our tutors to work with
Mhm.
students on, and just having a better understanding of the process.
Yes.
So really working for more than just class.
right. I think we'll be working on like a plagiarism or something, one information literacy
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's coming.
Even
It's just
like AI and plagiarism, because I would sure like to throw that one around.
yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, we have very topic that we're gonna be working on in that conference.
yeah.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's very clear as day when the AI is written your research paper. Very clear as day.
Oh, yeah, we do have a whole host of possible topics to explore besides AI and plagiarism. We have citations as a goal. We have the
Yes.
databases specifically. Each database has its unique approach, like ProQuest versus EBSCO. And there's also various other useful databases that don't always pop up, like Newsbank, on how to search newspapers effectively. There are many ways we can approach it. I just hope that we fully expand all those services and we target the skills that